जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 18, entitled The Battle Between Lord Boar and Hiranyaksha, texts 22 and 23. Brahma Uvacha. 21st verse. There's no purport, I'll read it. आसन्न शौण्डिरम् अपेत साध्वसं कृता प्रतीकारमहार्य विक्रमम् विलक्ष्य दैत्यं भगवान् सहस्रनीर् जगाद नारायणमादिसूकरम्. Translation. After arriving at the place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power that no one could fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayana, who was assuming the form of a boar for the first time. Brahma Uvacha. Brahma Uvacha. Esha te deva devanam Angrimulam upeyusham Vipranam saurabhinam Bhutanam api anagasam Agaskrid bhayakrid dushkrid Asmadradhavaro suraha Anveshan apratiratho Lokanatati kantakaha. Brahmovacha. Esha te deva devanam Angrimulam upeyusham Vipranam saurabhinam Bhutanamapyanagasam Agaskrid bhayakrid dushkrid Asmadradhavaro suraha Anveshan प्रतिरथो लोकानटति कण्टकः ब्रह्मोवाच एष ते देवदेवानां अङ्घ्रिमूलमुपेयुषाम् विप्राणां सौरभेयीणां भूतानामप्यनागसाम् आगस्कृद्भयकृद्दुष्कृद् अस्मद्राद्धवरोऽसुरः अन्वेषन्नप्रतिरथो लोकानटति कण्टकः ब्रह्मोवाच एष ते देवदेवानाम् अङ्घ्रिमूलमुपेयुषाम् विप्राणां सौरभेयीणां भूतानामप्यनागसाम् आगस्कृद्भयकृद्दुष्कृद् अस्मद्राद्धवरोऽसुरः अन्वेषन् अप्रतिरथो लोकानटति कण्टकः. Word to word meanings. Brahma uvacha. Lord Brahma said, Eshaha, this demon, te, your, Deva, O Lord, Devanam, to the demigods, Angrimulam, your feet, Upeyusham, to those having obtained, Vipranam, to the Brahmanas, Saurabheinam, to the cows, Bhutanam, to ordinary living entities, Api, also, Anagasam, innocent, Aghakrit, an offender, Bhayakrit, a source of fear, Dushkrit, wrongdoer, Asmat, from me, Radhavaraha, having attained a boon, Asuraha, a demon, Anveshan, searching, Apratirathaha, having no proper combatant, Lokan, all over the universe, Saha, for everyone. Divine Grace, AC Bhakti Vedanta Prabhu. Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, constant pinprick to the demigods, the Brahmana persons who are spotless, your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose. Purport. There are two classes of living entities. One is called Sura or the demigods, and the other is called Asura or the demons. Demons are generally fond of worshipping the demigods, and there are evidences that by such worship they get extensive power for their sense gratification. This later proves to be a cause of trouble to the Brahmanas, demigods, and other innocent living entities. Demons habitually find fault with the demigods, Brahmanas, and innocent to whom they are a constant source of fear. The way of the demon is to take power from the demigods and then tease the demigods themselves. There is an instance of a great devotee of Lord Shiva who obtained a boon from Lord Shiva that the head of whomever he touched with his hand would come off its trunk. As soon as the boon was offered to him, the demon wanted to touch the very head of Lord Shiva. That is their way. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead do not, however, ask any favor for sense gratification. Even if they are offered liberation, they refuse it. The happy is simply engaging in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpadruvascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading this instance or this episode of Hiranyaksha and his fight with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Varaha in his Varaha Rupa. So the fight was going on, and now Lord Brahma has intervened here, and he's addressing the Lord about the situation of this demon. We read in the previous chapters the history of how this demon was cursed. These doorkeepers were cursed, then they were forced to become demons, and how everything inauspicious omens were seen at the time of their birth, and even before their birth everything was inauspicious, the way they were conceived by their parents. So in the beginning of the previous chapter, 17th chapter, it was described all these inauspicious omens at the time of their births, and later how they grew up. In short, it was described that how they were powerful and a cause of trouble, and there was also mentioned that they both received a boon from Brahma. Generally we hear about Hiranyakashipu's penance, but Hiranyaksha also underwent a penance, and he was also awarded this boon that he will not be able, other living entities will not be able to kill him. This is described in one of the purports of the 17th chapter. 22nd verse it is described. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, having received the boon that they would not be killed by any other living entity within the universe, were almost immortal, and thus they were completely fearless. So like that, so both of these demons had boons, and especially Hiranyaksha. So because of having such boons, how they act is described here. They become practically fearless. So and then they cause trouble to other living entities, especially those who are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So the demigods, the brahmanas, the cows, all other innocent living entities. So they always cause trouble to the existing order set up by the Supreme Lord, and they challenge his establishment. So that is seen here, and in the present verse it is described Agaskrit, Bhayakrit, Dushkrit. So, how they gave trouble to these living entities, to these other innocent or God fearing jivas? God fearing, it is described here in this verse also. Uh, Angri Moolam Upeyusham, of those having upon your lotus feet, or those who have taken shelter of your lotus feet. So, this demon has become a constant source of trouble by in these three ways. So, he offends them, he causes them fear, and at the same time he engages in wrongdoings towards them. So like that, Prabhupada starts this purport again, describing the two classes of living entities. Dau bhuta sargo lokesmin daiva asura evacha. So those who are worshippers of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu bhakta smrito daivas asurastad viparyaya. So asuras are completely exactly opposite of the suras or the demons. Suras means those who accept the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. So, and they derive power from the demigods again. So, firstly, they don't want to accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. Actually, they don't want to accept any authority. But we see their cunning behavior, that how wherever their means are fulfilled, so they go there. So we see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes kama istaista ritagnyana prapadyante anya devata. So tam niyamam asthaya prakrita niyata svayaha. So those who have lost their intelligence out of the desire for sense gratification, fulfillment of their sensual desires, nunam pramattah kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya pranoti. So one engages in sinful activities for the sake of sense gratification, and one becomes practically mad. It is described in the as Rishabdev has told to advised his sons, that one becomes practically mad, highest degree mad. Pramattah, as Prabhupada often commented on this word. So mattah, unmattah and pramattah means highest degree of madness. So where it comes from? It comes from the desire for sense gratification, or lording it over this material nature, this material world, the resources of material nature. So that is a demonic quality. So asha pasha shatair vaddha, they are bound up with so many uncountable desires. In English also there is that popular saying that there is enough on this earth to fulfill everyone's need, but not for someone's greed. So everyone's necessity can be fulfilled, there is abundance, there is plenty. But to greed there is no limit. Even one person's greed can't be fulfilled. It is quite apt, and it is quite applicable to these demons, because they are full of these virtues. They are greedy. They only want to fulfill their bestial, sensual desires, and for that they can engage in any sort of behavior, any sort of activity they will undertake. So although they don't want to accept the authority of anyone, but still, because they know that this is one instance of their kutinati, or their diplomatic, their hypocrisy, so they surrender unto him, surrender unto higher personalities, those who are empowered like the demigods, and they attain their desired boons. And as soon as they get those boons, they immediately deride the same personality who offered them that particular boon. So Prabhupada here is quoting about the instance of Vrikshasura. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is described in the 10th canto, 88th chapter, the deliverance of Lord Shiva. So how Lord Shiva gave this boon to this Vrikshasura. So Parikshit Maharaj begins this inquiry with a very important point. Some observation he made. He asks Shukdev Goswami that how come the devotees of Lord Vishnu, he lives very opulently in his abode in Vaikuntha, in Aishwarya. So his devotees worship him in Aishwarya Bhava. So he lives very opulently, but his devotees at the same time are seen to be very poverty stricken. On the other hand, there is Lord Shiva, who himself lives in a poverty stricken way. He's so renounced that he doesn't even build a house for himself. But his devotees are seen to be very opulent. So Parikshit Maharaj inquired this question. Prabhupada remarks that this question is very intelligent. So the devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, the two kinds of devotees, are always in disagreement. So in South India also this divide always keeps on going on. Shaivites and Vaishnavas. And generally there are arguments also. They hold many debates. And generally the followers of Vaishnavas, they emerge victorious, the followers of Ramanujacharya. So they defeat the followers of Shankaracharya in most of these debates. So anyways, Shukdev Goswami explains to this question that, in answer to this question, that so Lord Shiva is a master of the material energy. Of course, in one place in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes that Lord Shiva is also bound up by he is an incarnation of Tamoguna, like that. Of course, he is an incarnation of Guna, but he is ultimately he is the husband of Durga Devi. So he is a master of material energy. We know he is a Dhira also. So worshipping different demigods is not on the same level as worshipping of Vishnu. This point is explained very clearly by Shukdev Goswami as an answer to this inquiry. So the results are different. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedasam. So those who are devotees of, or those who worship the demigods, so they get temporary results, and those who are less intelligent are generally the ones who engage in it. However, those who worship the Supreme Lord, so they don't worship. They may have such intent initially if they are not purified, if they are not pure devotees. But ultimately, if they continue and stick to this path, they are also purified. So like that, akamaha sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi ivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So anyone, whoever is whatever state of existence he is in with respect to his material desires, whether he is akamaha, whether he is sarva kamaha, or whether he is moksha kamaha. So everyone is advised to yajeta purusham param, to advise to engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality. So Krishna or Vishnu, he is advised to worship. So Lord Vishnu, he is not advised to go to the demigods, because eventually it is understood that by worshipping Krishna or worshipping Vishnu, he will eventually be purified of his materialistic tendency, and he will come to the platform of pure devotional service. So like that. So basically, the result of worshipping the Supreme Lord is that so one becomes free from this material entanglement. So from the desire for lording it over material nature, or even from fulfilling one's sensual desires, one's desires for sense gratification. So one is purified out of that, and one is freed from this material engagement also. So Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. He doesn't have to take this material birth again. Where he goes, he comes to me. Mamaiti Sorjuna. But these worshippers of the demigods, so they don't attain this platform. So they again and again have to undergo repeated birth and death. So they are not liberated from this material entanglement. They achieve some temporary this material, and they are awarded some facilities to Lord. The world is in under the three modes, expanded into different 20, 16 are the 5 Mahabhutas, and then 10 working senses. knowledge acquiring senses, so like that 15, and then mind. So like that. So ultimately these 16 are all consisting of the material energy only. So one is supposed to become free from this material engagement, nistrai gunyo. So like that. So even Yudhishthir Maharaj also inquired similarly to Lord Krishna, that how come your devotees are are in poverty-stricken condition. So Lord Krishna quoted that famous verse, Yasyaham anugrahanami harishe taddanam shanai tato va dhanam tyajatyasya swajana dukkha dukhitam. In fact, Lord Krishna said that those who are my devotees, I take away their wealth. Harishe tad dhanam shanai. Very quickly I take away their material opulences. And what happens is, in that condition, the devotee, so he has no other shelter. All his relatives and well-wishers, so they give up his company. And ultimately, having no other shelter, he surrenders to me, and that takes him ahead in his progressive path to devotional service, in his progressive path. So that analogy is given, that how these demigods, so they fulfill the materialistic desires of their worshippers without any consideration, whereas the Supreme Lord, he is like an affectionate father. So he sees what is good for his devotee. He also offers benedictions and boons, but he sees what his devotee is capable of and what is good for his ultimate benefit. So Shreya and Preya. So Arjuna inquired for his Shreya in Bhagavad Gita. Yat Shreyasyan Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme. So Krishna, tell me about my ultimate benefit. In the first chapter, Arjuna said, Nahi Shreya Manupashyami. So I don't see any long-term benefit in this undertaking of this war. So like that. So basically, Krishna sees what is the ultimate benefit of his devotee, and accordingly he awards him boons. He doesn't thoughtlessly like these demigods. So he doesn't award any kind of sense gratificatory desires to fulfill their fulfill their whims. So like that. So Lord is all merciful in this way. Means he shows his mercy to his devotee, and it's a special mercy when he takes away the opulences of his pure devotees. So it is described that initially the devotee may try to improve his material condition. I mean to say, when Krishna says that Yasyaham anugrahanami harishye tad dhanam shanai. So initially the devotee may try to fix his material condition or to recover from his material losses. But eventually everything fails. Krishna takes it away also. So ultimately he realizes that this is the Lord's special mercy and that I should surrender unto him. So we see that devotees of the Lord, so they underwent many troubles. Even the Pandavas we see throughout the Mahabharata, throughout the history, how they suffered so much, despite the Supreme Personality of Godhead always being in their company. So they always underwent so many troubles, so many tortures. They lost their kingdom, they lost everything. So even their wife was humiliated in the assembly of the Kauravas, and then later they were forced to go to the Agyatvasa. Everywhere there was troubles. They were deprived of all the facilities, and there was no such reason. This is another point, that generally when people suffer in the material world, it is out of their past karma. It is out of their reactions of their past sinful activities. But when devotees, they undergo distressful conditions, so it is not because of their karma. It is because of the special arrangement of the Supreme Lord, that devotee who is fully surrendered unto the Lord, who personally has no desires, he is sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam. So the devotee, he doesn't have any desires to fulfill, and he is as Prabhupada describes in the present purport also. So they never ask for any favor from the Supreme Lord. So they worship the Supreme Lord, but that the intent is not to fulfill their material desires. So they are equipoised in any situation. Narayana para sarve na kutaschana bibhyati. Swargapavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. So Narayana para, those who are fixed up, those who are Krishnamati, or those who have accepted the shelter or supreme of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord of Lord Narayana. So they are not afraid in any situation, whether it is Swarga, Apavarga or Narka, whether they are in the heavenly planets or whether they are liberated from this material engagement or whether they are in hellish planets. They see it all equally. So yeah, it is a very elevated stage. We quote this verse often, but it is quite difficult. If a small difficulty is there, we immediately forget all our philosophy. So of course I can speak of myself that I have not yet reached to this platform, Narayana Para. So it's a high platform. One has to go on practicing in different stages, sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, eventually. So one comes to the highest platforms. So at the stage of sadhana, one may have his material nature and material tendencies still visible, but still he has to follow under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, and gradually utsaha nishchayat parya tat karma pravartanat. So eventually he will come to the highest realms of bhakti also. So there is no doubt about it. There is no samshaya. Asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasya sitachranu. So there is no doubt that one will attain the topmost platform. So one has to just remain steady in bhakti. That famous example is there. Sridhar Swami gives in his commentary to. So what is that verse? So one has to tolerate the results of his karma, and eventually he'll be liberated. So Sridhar Swami says in that commentary that in comment to that verse, tatte nukampa susamikshamaana bunjana evatma kritam vipakam vidvag vapurvir vidadan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaiva. So Sridhar Swami writes in that commentary that in order to attain the topmost, just like a son in order to attain his father's wealth, in order to inherit his ancestors' wealth, he has to just be a sane member of his family, an active member of his family, and eventually all his ancestral wealth he will inherit it. So similarly, one has to stay in bhakti, and eventually he will receive all the great benedictions that are described in the scriptures, in the shastras. So like that. So devotee tolerates all the reactions or whatever distresses he is undergoing as reactions of his past life. Although in case of pure devotees, we understand that when they undergo distress, that is not because of their past reactions, of their past karma. It is because of the desire of the Supreme Lord. So he wants them to be glorified. He wants them to establish an example for the common men. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tatta deva itare janaha. So other people, itara janaha, so they will follow the example of the great personalities. So like that we see great devotees, Yudhishthir Maharaj, the Pandavas, Mother Kunti. So they tolerated all the troubles that came their way without complaining to Lord Krishna. We don't see that they ever went to Lord Krishna seeking for a relief for their distress. So they always took shelter of the Supreme Lord. And in fact we see that Queen Kunti prayed to the Supreme Lord, to Lord Krishna, after the battle of Kurukshetra, that when we were encumbered with so many difficulties, you were always with us. But now that our troubles have gone, you are also leaving us. It is better that we are bound by those difficulties. In that way we will surrender unto you more. Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jugat guru bhavata darshanam yat syad apunarbhava darshanam. So when let those all those difficulties again and again fall upon me, fall upon us, and then we will completely take your shelter, and we'll be more. Uh, that is the desired situation. It is not that we want to live a comfortable life. We want your association. So we saw that also before the battle, that Arjuna and Yudhishthira, Arjuna and Duryodhana both had gone to Lord Krishna to seek something, and both of them came out happy. Because Duryodhana, he wanted Lord's wealth, Lord's army, and on the other hand, Arjuna, he wanted the Supreme Lord. And although the Lord clearly made it very clear in the beginning itself that wherever he goes, he will not fight. So this is how demons work. They consider that, they think that the energy of the Lord is superior to him, and they are only interested in that. So this instance of Vrikshasura is also like that. Even all the demons, their behavior is very common. Whether be it Ramana or Hiranyakashipu, so everyone was interested in exploiting the resources of material nature only. So Ravana, he wanted to just take away Lord's internal energy, Mother Sita, and take her as an enjoyment for himself. So these demons are placed like this. So we see that ultimately this Vrikshasura, who is described as the son of Shakuni, so he in order to fulfill his materialistic goal, first he wanted to ascertain who to worship out of the three deities from Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So somehow Narad Muni happened to give him an audience, and Narad Muni guided him that you should worship Lord Shiva. You should not go to Vishnu. Because Narada, he knew that demons who are in the mode of ignorance, so they will not be able to take up the worship of Lord Vishnu. So therefore Narada advised him according to his acquired words. So therefore Vrikshasura, he engages in worshipping Lord Shiva in a ghastly sacrifice. So it is described that he goes to Kedarnatha and there he lights up fire, and how he does, what kind of tapasya he does, he goes on cutting his flesh and offering it as an oblation to Lord Shiva. So again we can see that this Archana Vidhi, the process in which he is engaging, it is not Archana Vidhi, his process of worship, we can see that it is completely in the mode of ignorance. So they worship like that. Whereas on the other hand, we see that devotees of Lord Krishna, so Krishna prescribes a very simple method, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. So even a poor man, he can with limited means very easily engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead by just some water and tulasi leaf and some fruit. So we can understand that there is a difference in the modes of their worship also, these demons, and between the devotees of the Lord. So ultimately Lord Shiva had to compassionately appear. Prabhupada writes that it is not that he has pleased Lord Shiva by his so-called sacrifice. It is a natural compassion. If anybody is engaging in suicide, and if somebody else happens to see him, one will naturally try to stop him. One doesn't have to beg him. So he is obliging Lord Shiva to come. So Lord Shiva came out of his natural compassion, not by being pleased with this demon. And Lord Shiva pacifies him that you could have satisfied me simply by offering me some water and bilva leaf. Why did you engage in such a ghastly sacrifice? What is your intention? And that demon, don't worry, Lord Shiva assures him that I will fulfill your desires. And the demon upon understanding that his desires will be fulfilled, so he asked for this uh, pitiable boon that whoever's head I touch, it should immediately crack. So Lord Shiva also felt sorry as soon as he heard that this demon has such a desire, and because he had promised it, he was obliged to fulfill it. Describes in today's purport also. Immediately the boon, what he did, he wanted to enjoy only. So he thought, oh, let me get rid of. He went chasing Lord Shiva only. He on the head of Lord Shiva and crack his body. Shiva is described that he ran everywhere throughout the. No one could help him, and finally he had to go to Shweta. So where Lord Narayana had to intervene, and he intelligently, Lord Vishnu, so he took the form of a Brahmana, of a brahmachari, and he pacified this demon and convinced him that why are you so much undertaking so much austerity, you are tired, you should take care of your body. Prabhupada comments that one doesn't have to convince a demon about his body too much. As soon as you mention about body, he will immediately understand the importance of body, and so, and rightly so in this case also, this Vrikshasura was convinced that he should not torment his body so much, and he should better drink some water. And like that, so Lord Vishnu took him into confidence and made him reveal his plans. And as soon as he revealed his plans, Lord Narayana in the form of Brahmachari told him, as we know the story, that so Lord Shiva is not in his sane condition and his boons are not working. Why don't you try it on your own self? So this is again the power of the Supreme Lord, that he put him into such an illusion that the demon couldn't think clearly, and he followed. He just followed what Lord Narayana told him, and he kept his hand on his own head, and as soon as he did so, his head immediately cracked. So we see that so ultimately the Supreme Lord saved Lord Shiva also, and Lord Vishnu comments in the end that whatever fate this demon met, it was because of his past karma only. As a result of his sinful activities, he is suffering. So he has met his fate. So likewise, all these demons, despite attaining great boons, all materialistic boons from the demigods whom they worship, so ultimately they meet with the reactions of their karma. They don't become free from the reactions of their karma. So like that they are engaged, and they are killed by the power of the Supreme Lord. As we will see in this instance also, that after the prayers of Lord Brahma, so Lord Narayana, Lord Varaha will not continue this battle. So he will immediately kill this demon. So like that we can understand this, some thoughts on this purport. We can have more discussion if required. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।